Hey there, and welcome to Faith in Finance, where your values and your financial vision come together. I'm your host, Geil Thompson, registered rep for Joseph Eden Capital, a sister firm of Joseph Wealth Management. Every week, I'll be walking with you through the tools, truths, and strategies that help you build wealth with purpose, clarity, and peace. Because your money isn't just about what you have, it's about what you're building. Let's get started. Each week, we break down how capital moves, how markets shift, and how you can position your resources with wisdom and strategy to build ownership, grow your wealth, and establish lasting legacy. Let's get into it. Before we talk about money, we need to talk about something even more important, and that's who you are with money. Because your identity, how you think about money, will determine how you use it, how you build it, and whether you'll even multiply it. Most people were never taught to think like owners. We were taught to think like workers. We go to school, get a job, pay the bills, try to save something if there's even anything left, and maybe, after decades of working, hope that there's enough for us to even retire on. But I want you to know something, folks. That's survival. That's not a wealth model. Survival doesn't equate to wealth. You see, there's a game being played every single day, right in front of us. But most people were never taught the rules. The game is called capital. Most people know how to work for money, but very few have been taught how to make money work for them. And once you understand how capital moves, how ownership creates multiplication, everything changes. This is where the shift begins. From working to earning, from earning to owning, and from owning to multiplying. A basic mindset will ask questions like, well, how do I make more money? Or how much do I make? But let's change that narrative. Let's ask that question a little bit more strategic. The wealthy would ask something more like, what do I own that continues to earn even when I'm not working? So whether that's investing in real estate, investing in the stock market, because here's the thing, right, folks? Everywhere you look, people are spending money, and not everyone is participating in the spending, but many people are actually owners. So let's talk about basic things we do every day. Some of you probably purchased coffee this morning, but let's be clear, someone owned that Starbucks, and even more, someone owns that Starbucks stock. People are filling up their gas. Guess what? You probably put gas in your car this week for work, but someone owns the gas station. And even more importantly, someone owns the energy companies. People are buying new iPhones, Samsungs, Androids, whatever it is. But guess what? Someone owns Apple and its stock. You see, ownership is the seed of wealth. And this is where your financial identity shifts from worker to owner. So why not you? Why not you own the Starbucks stock or the BP or the Shell stock or even the Apple stock? So when consumers eat or they spend their money or they use these products, it works to your benefit. Now that you understand ownership matters, let's get very practical. Because when we talk about ownership, we're really talking about controlling assets. Things that continue to appreciate and produce value, whether you're working or not. So what exactly is an asset, you may ask? Well, this is the definition. Ultimately, it's anything that produces value over time. So, for instance, your home, whether you own it or you rent it, someone purchased it at a particular price. And that house now grows in value, which makes, guess what? It an asset. A stock, We've talked about several of the companies that we use on a regular basis, whether it's Shell Gas or it's BP or it's Apple. I have an iPhone, or even if it's a cup of coffee. There are stocks that pay dividends on growth as, guess what? As long as you own these assets. And lastly, let's talk about businesses that generate profits. And guess what? Those businesses that are profitable are considered assets. So if you're thinking about even entrepreneurship, it's definitely food for thought because it becomes an asset to you later on down the line. Think of assets like seeds. You plant them, you water them, or you get other consumers to water them. But in the long run, they protect you. And over time, they grow. So if you're only working for money and never acquiring assets, you're only earning. And you're only earning as long as you're working. But when you own an asset, your wealth has the ability to multiply independently of your labor or even the hours you've worked. That's where we're trying to get to. Now, let's clear up one thing that most people oftentimes misunderstand about the wealth building process. And I get it, it can be quite intimidating, and that's the stock market. But for many, although this may be a complicated subject, I just really want you to know it's really not. At its core, it's very simple. It's just a marketplace of businesses. When you buy a stock, you're buying ownership, a real piece of a real company. Now, depending on the number of shares you acquire over time, determines your percentage of ownership. However, what comes with owning these assets is what's important. It's power. It's power to buy back your time. It's power to free yourself, where you're no longer just working from check to check. No longer are you just making money, but now your money is working for you. So, the next time you see a McDonald's, I want you to think about something. Do you own any of those McDonald's stocks? Because guess what? Every time someone purchases fries, it could benefit you. Do you own Apple stock? So that every time anyone upgrades their iPhone or purchases a new iPhone, guess what? You participate in the value creation. And guess what? You also benefit from the stock price. Listen, there are benefits that come with your ownership. The stock market isn't gambling. It's ownership, but you first must approach it with knowledge, strategy, and patience. I want to address something that oftentimes go unspoken, and I was there, so I think it's important for us to talk about it, and that's fear. See, I know that oftentimes we've heard phrases like, where people perish, it's because they don't have knowledge. Well, I'll say this as well. Sometimes people fear what they don't know. And I know for many people, when you hear words like assets, capital, ownership, stocks, or businesses, one or two things happen. We either nod politely as if like, oh, I really understand what you're saying, but deep down inside, you may feel unsure, sometimes even confused. But listen, I know this may sound complicated. I don't want to get it wrong. I know I've said that several times, but this is for the people that are ready to move, that are ready to make money. And let me pause right here. There's nothing wrong with you. You lack nothing. You're not missing anything. All you're missing simply is a strategy. You were never taught the language of ownership, so of course this is going to sound new, but don't resist it. Because listen, this can truly break you free as well as your family. My role is to break this down so that you don't have fear. But at the same time, too, I don't want to water down this truth too much because I need to bring you up to the level where we are. You're fully capable of understanding how capital works, but you first must allow yourself to learn a new way of thinking and definitely a new language model. And yes, people will say, but isn't investing risky? Of course it is. Everything carries risk. But let's be honest, you've been working probably on your job more than a year or more than 2. And there's some people who've even stayed on jobs for 40 plus years. If you don't think that that's risky, hey, that's a totally different type of risk. But this is what I need you to understand about risk. It's not about eliminating it. We're not trying to eliminate risk. It's about how do you manage risk through knowledge, through diversification, and time. Investing is not about gambling when you know what you own, why you own it, and how to position it for growth. There is a wealth formula, and I want to break it down for you. It's really simple. Number one, you earn from your work. Number two, you save a portion of what you earn. Number three, you purchase and own assets that grow and appreciate in value. And number four, over time, these assets multiply, producing more value so that, guess what? You make money while you sleep. See, income and jobs pay bills, but ownership builds wealth. The world we're living in today, we're constantly moving at a fast pace. But please, don't allow technology, economic shifts, or even global events to make you not realize what's happening and the impact it's making on your finances every day, day in and day out. But while people react emotionally to the headlines, those of us who understand capital flow, we're positioning ourselves. We want to know where the capital is moving next, because we know one thing. If we can identify where capital is moving, then we know that there's opportunity, of course, that's available there. So think about this the next time you look at the news. When governments spend, when industries shift, when new technologies emerge, watch the capital reallocations. Watch where the money is moving, because if you're paying attention, you can position yourself to participate, not just observe. We're no longer just standing in the coffee lines at Starbucks, people. We're buying the Starbucks stock, okay? So I want you to sit with this, and sit with this as kind of food for thought. Ask yourself, who have you been with money, and how have you been with money up until now? Think about that. Are you one of those people that are just saving it and tucking it away, but it's actually not producing anything for you? Listen, because wealth isn't simple, I want you to understand this. This is all about identity shift. We want to shift your identity. You've been taught to think like a worker, but wealth builders think like owners. They don't think just like workers. They think about ownership. This is the journey we're taking together. Week after week, we'll teach you how capital moves, how markets shift, and how to position your resources with wisdom, strategy, and clarity. The next move is yours. You can keep watching capital move, or you can take a position yourself to participate. And if you're ready to move from information to execution, I invite you to connect with us directly. Go to josephwealthmanagement.com. Contact us and schedule your private consultation today. Whether you're building, restructuring, or expanding your financial plan, we want you to prosper. And as you prosper, your finances will prosper as well. Every season of wealth requires strategy. Let us help you build yours together. I look forward to seeing you soon. Today, we talked about who you are with money. And I really want you to assess, truly ask yourself who you are with money. Let me give you a story. It's known as the parable of the talents. There was a master who went off, but before he went off, he entrusted 3 of his servants with specific amounts of money. One he gave 5 talents, the other 2, and the third one he gave 1. The Bible says he gave it to them each according to their ability. See, he didn't just give them instructions, but just an opportunity. 2 of them, it says that they actually went out. The one that had 5 talents went out and traded and received 5 more. The one that had 2 talents went out and multiplied and received 2 additional. But that third one, the one that had 1 talent, the Bible says that he buried his talent out of fear. So when the master returns, he doesn't get upset. He's just a bit grieved because he did nothing. He let fear paralyze his potential. This story isn't about money. It's really more so about mindset. And it's the reason I asked you the very question, who are you with money? The first two saw themselves as stewards and acted in faith. The third saw himself as a protector, and fear held him back. And that's the same tension that each of us face on a day-to-day basis. God has placed something in all of our hands, whether it's income, a skill, a dream, or even a vision. The question isn't how much you've been given. The real question is are you putting the talents he's given you to work? Financial stewardship means taking action, not recklessly, but strategically with wisdom and courage. So whether you're working with a little or a lot, this is your invitation to shift from fear to faith, from protecting to multiplying, from surviving to building something that lasts. Because God doesn't just provide the resource, he honors our response. The Faith and Finance podcast is intended for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Joseph Wealth Management, Joseph Eden Capital, or any affiliated entities. Nothing shared on this podcast should be construed as personalized, financial, legal, tax, or investment advice. All investing carries risk, including the potential loss of principal. Listeners are strongly encouraged to consult with a licensed financial advisor or fiduciary who understands their unique circumstances before making any financial decisions. Joseph Wealth Management and Joseph Eden Capital are registered entities and operate in accordance with applicable regulatory guidelines. Business is conducted only in jurisdictions where they are duly licensed or exempt from registration.